You are now listening to the Going North podcast with your host, author and speaker, Dom Bregman. And every Monday and Thursday, you're going to hear the voice of a different author share their stories, expertise, and their struggles that they had to overcome in life to leave you inspired to get more out of your life. Be sure to not only listen to this episode, but share with others, connect with the authors, and always advance others to advance yourself. Now let's get on with the show. And today on the Going North podcast, we're back at you again with another author, but not just any author. This wonderful author right here is a fellow Toastmaster, and it is an amazing organization that connects you with amazing people. Let me tell you a bit about this amazing person. This wonderful lady right here, she's an insurance professional, performance improvement leader, and a speaker in addition to being a newly minted author with over 25 years of working in corporate settings in a financial discipline. And she is a Ph.D. as well. She's a Ph.D., y'all, as well as a distinguished Toastmaster, which is the highest education award that any member can receive. And you're probably wondering who this wonderful lady is, who is also, at the time of this recording, the current District Director of District 18 Toastmasters. It is the one, the only, Dr. Elizabeth A. Carter. How are you today, ma'am?
Good evening, Dominic, and all of the Going North podcast friends and family. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, excited to have you on the show indeed. Saw you 2 years ago at a training and then ended up helping you out with a training event in Delaware, met all these amazing folks, and it just kind of went up from there. And now it's like, wow, we're in the same company. Fellow folks who wrote books and trying to take over the world.
That's right. Taking over the world one book at a time. That's right.
That's right. Grown-ups and the kids. That's right. Nobody's safe.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Indeed. Well, as with every introduction, they're not allowed to be 365 days long, so mind filling in some cavities where I may have missed some things?
What you stated was absolutely correct. I have been a finance geek in the insurance industry for over 25 years. But that's really what helped propel my passion for training and development and led me to get a second master's degree and a PhD with the specialization in training and performance improvement. I have found that there's so much information that, one, people don't know how to use it or don't have access to it, that I have really established myself with a unique, they've told me, unique skill set between being able to understand the financial aspects of a business and being able to help employees determine how what they do impact the numbers, and that comes through training and development. That's really what has helped propel my career and leverage my professional passion with my personal passion, and it's converged somewhat in this book I just wrote.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. And it's a nice little nutrient for the mind, as some folks would say, because it's nice and short, sweet, and to the point, and it gets straight to the goods.
That's right.
So with 2 master's degrees and a doctorate, I'm guessing a book was just a natural transition. What inspired you to become an author?
I have been collecting snippets of my life for a long time, and I think Toastmasters really helped me gather my thoughts. I've given, as I would tell you, said a DTM. I'm a 2-time DTM, and that means I've given a lot of speeches, and many of those speeches were about my life, what I've been through, sharing training and development tools. I have notebooks and notebooks of just thoughts, ideas, interesting things, things people have told me that may have been right, wrong, or indifferent. And I found that putting it on paper is really helpful and creates a bit of a stress reliever. We all carry a lot of information in our head and a lot of thoughts and opinions. Putting them down on paper relieves you of the stress of remembering them. And at a point in time in the future, you can then assemble them and organize them and share it with others. And that was really why I wanted to write a book. There have been so many people who helped me. I have been so blessed with mentors at work, family members, Toastmasters, and not everyone has the similar access and opportunities and connections. I wanted to be one similar to you, helping others connect the dots, get information, and propel themselves into areas where they feel valued, where they can grow and really become what they aspire to be. And that usually they don't do it because they don't have enough information to do it.
Speaking of connecting the dots, your book is full of wonderful acronyms.
Yes.
That's right. The title itself is an acronym.
That's correct. That's my brand. I'm an acronym and alliteration fiend. Yes.
Woohoo. There we go. Alliteration all day. So 3 Ds and 3 Ds. That's right. Well, so many acronyms in the book, and it's titled Activities Critical to Continuous Evolution and Success for Self. And it's just amazing how it's just broken down into those. You got those 3 big letters, and it's broken down into 3 different sections. So it's really interesting, too. You mentioned alliteration. It's like you got the first section, it's a PY, another one's a PY, and another one's another PY.
Yes.
So it's almost like 3 pies.
Yes. And I really want to be able to make it memorable. You and I are both familiar in speech writing where you want to leave the audience with something to remember. And having these key focus items and the melodious tone of each section will help people remember what the book is about. And with the organization of the 16 activities critical, if they use 1, 5, 7, or all 16, that similarly will help them move forward. Yes.
That's right, indeed. Help move forward, indeed. And what helped you to get to this point where you just found all these activities and just was able to actually drill it down into a compact package that anybody can just pick up and read?
Yes. What I had to do, that's really where it took some time. Even though I did write the book in about 6 weeks, I wanted to make sure that it was condensed enough for people to grab nuggets and use. I tried to keep each story and scenario short but relevant with a lesson. Some stories feel a little longer than others. And the great thing about writing these short reads is that I don't have to give you everything in one book. I can do a second edition. I have another book coming out about leading others. This way, I'm feeding people small bites. And if they want to learn more and hear more, I am happy to come and talk to groups, get more in depth about my stories. And this is really just the beginning of being able to share my story with people.
That's right. It's the beginning indeed. It's the beginning indeed. So what trials did you have to go through to finally just get to that point where it's like, okay, I'm tired of all of these losses I'm taking. Let me find a way to chisel out a statue of some kind of success here?
the two main things, it's under the one umbrella called prioritization. The challenge is that there's only 24 hours in a day. I wish the day could be longer. And what happens is that you have to really prioritize what's important in life. What do you want to do? What's going on in your life at the present moment that could be a barrier to where you're trying to go? For me, the first thing was time. I like to raise my hand for everything. Who's looking for a volunteer for this? I'll raise my hand. Who wants to do that? I'll raise my hand. But sometimes you have to stop raising your hand because you can't do everything great if there's just too many of them. For me, I love being involved in everything, but I had to say, what's important right now? The most important thing prior to this book was finishing this PhD. That took me 7 years. And within that 7 years, there were a lot of things I had to forego, other activities that I really were passionate about, a social life, certain things I could not do for Toastmasters. But I knew if I got to the end, I could go back to doing all those things that I put to the side for this one project. The second trial is always money. Everything costs money. A PhD program is not cheap. The return on the investment is nothing, essentially. It's really about the passion of wanting to have the degree and being able to leverage the doctor in your name to go forward. For me, I did not want to have another student loan debt. I had one from undergrad. I had one from my first master's degree. My second master's degree, I financed myself. The PhD, I said I cannot take out a 7-year student loan. Again, prioritize. I had to review my budget. What were the things I had to stop doing or do less of or do differently in order to finance the education? There were some points in time where it was challenging, where all I could do was go to work, come home, pay my mortgage, put gas in the car, buy some food, and that was it because I knew every 10 weeks the school wanted their money. But again, I knew that if I budgeted myself well and was deliberate in what I was doing, I was not going to let that hinder my success. Many people just can't do things because of financial status. And I was fortunate, again, I was working, I had a decent job. There was actually a period of time where I was unemployed for 17 months, but I was still able to make my tuition bill. But not everyone has that luxury. But for me, I planned it really well. It was challenging, but we all go through that. It's just a matter of how we handle it and how we come out on the other side, knowing that time and money will always be a challenge for us, no matter what we want to do.
Oh, yes, indeed. That's right. Yeah, the money piece and the time piece is like, yeah, we all got the same amount of time, and it's great to prioritize it, but it's like, oh, man, but it can still try to escape from you.
Yes. Oh, my goodness, yes.
Yeah, and 7 years for a PhD, too, and then just being able to keep yourself motivated and dedicated and focused to actually get that done, too.
Yes.
On top of everything else you're doing.
Yes, and that's really where I always talk about in my book even accountability. You need an accountability partner, and because that will be the person, if they're the right person, who will push you and help you up if you are down and out and you're like, I don't know why I'm doing this, all this money, nothing's happening, and they are the ones to say, hey, you can do it. Think about all the opportunities that will come to you when you get done. It's not that hard. Just take a couple of steps every single day, write every day, read every day, and the time will go by and you will be happy that you stuck it out. And that was really what helped me. I had a school mentor and I had a personal mentor. She would call me and she'd be like a pain, but I needed it. She's like, how's it going? How's it going? Are you writing? And I'd be like, well, yeah, sometimes. But I needed that because without that person in my ear, I would have slacked off further, and I still would have been working on it. So I always tell people, have an accountability partner, someone who's tough but loving and really is there to help you move forward and get to the goals that you are wanting to achieve.
Yeah, that's right. A teddy bear in one hand and a whip in another.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Oh, man, but you are right, though. That accountability partner will help you get tons of stuff done and actually stay focused. And I could really attest that personally with a lot of past projects. For ones, I had folks that knew about it, and then some folks who didn't know about it, and the folks that didn't know about it, those projects never really got done.
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
man,
And even I had my coach, who's my cousin, coach me on writing the book. Similar, would send me a text. How's it going? How's your writing? You finish your writing? Let's talk about this. Let's talk about that. Again, another motivating person. If I hadn't had her checking in on me, this book wouldn't have gotten done.
Yes, indeed. And like you said about the accountability partner, one for both in class, another one for personal, which is great because it's different people for one, and two, it's like you got two different folks that can ping you at random moments where you don't see it coming, and it's like, oh shoot, I have to do that thing.
Yes.
Yeah, it's like you have to have that whole council of like mentors and just helping you to get through there. So any advice for those who are looking for that accountability buddy in their life to hopefully get more out of life?
I would definitely say pick people who are where you want to be. My personal mentor was already a PhD. She had already gone through all of the excruciatingly painful details of completing one. She knew exactly what I should be doing, when I should be doing it. Those are the people who are the best, especially if you're trying to what I would call pivot. I am trying and still working on pivoting from this finance professional into a trainer, into an author, all areas of the unknown for me. Those people who are your resources will help you save time and even money because they are offering you insights that you would not get from searching the internet for 24 hours trying to find one piece of information. People want to help other people. I think that many of us are afraid to ask for help because we think it's a weakness. It's not a weakness. That's really what I would offer around looking for someone to help you. And again, they are happy to help you. They will feed you information that you would never know. They are candid. They are open. They are sharing. If you don't know anyone personally, that's where you can go to the website and look for search sites of topics that you are passionate about. Find people who are experts in that field. Send them a note. Maybe they're doing a free webinar. Maybe they're coming to town to do some type of seminar. Say, hey, I'm thinking about this. I'd love to talk to you on the phone for 15, 20 minutes just to pick your brain. People are happy to do that. I would definitely say search out those expert resources and pay for it. Pay to invest in yourself. The time that you spend to have someone help you is a lot less than time that you will waste trying to search on your own.
It's true indeed. It's true indeed. Especially just the whole law of divine compensation is just basically compensating those folks who are actually investing time in, in a way, mental real estate to help you out with your goals and dreams.
That's right.
And actually help keep you going and all of that wonderful stuff, which is awesome indeed. I mean, it's like some folks get a little flack for like maybe having like a coach or just the coaching business itself, but it's a really lucrative industry because a lot of folks need that, especially nowadays where a lot of folks may have a competitive drive in certain areas of life, and they're like, okay, how the heck do I give myself an edge? And it's like there's so many people out there with information that you need to actually help you get to that next level.
That's right. That is right. Someone help them, they're happy to pay it forward.
Oh, yeah, that's right. And give you all sorts of access.
They do. Yes, that's right. That is right.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Well, it's awesome going from the financial industry to the training, speaking, as well as the authorship business. You even got your PhD in education. So what inspired you to actually get the PhD in education of all things when there's multiple things to choose from?
It was interesting how I decided to do the training piece. Because in the finance world, all we do is crunch numbers and hand out reports, and no one likes the finance people for some reason. I don't know why. The problem is that they don't understand what the numbers mean. And I developed a training for some underwriters. This is almost 20 years ago. When I saw the light bulb go on in their heads to understand, oh my God, that's how my job impacts the numbers, there was a totally different engagement, attitude from the employee about their job. I said, oh my God, this is great. I love to see the change in behavior in people from having information that will help. For me, I'm one that likes to know everything. I'm a lifelong learner. I like to know everything about everything, even though that is impossible. Because I saw the passion in the training, I said, well, I have a master's in business. I don't have any training background. I can't sell myself as a trainer or a facilitator. I will have to go and get some letters after my name that says, hey, I've done some work in this and I have degrees. That's why I went and got the master's degree first in education. And the PhD I had been thinking about for a while. But I thought to get your PhD, you had to have an idea that changed the world or solved world hunger. And that's not necessarily the case. That was a matter of me guessing of what the expectations were to get a PhD. And I talk about guessing in my book, where we assume so many things that are not true, and we let those untruths hold us back. Once I found out it's really about just adding one small nugget of knowledge to the world, one small piece, that's what the PhD is about. I said, oh, that's simpler than I thought, though it is still difficult. And I really wanted to be able to have that additional information, the research background, the additional knowledge about training, especially the performance improvement piece. I said, all right, I'm going to go ahead and get this PhD. My goal was 5 years. Life happens, and it took a little longer than that. But I have found it very worthwhile. I have been using my tools in my finance roles in the various companies I have been working in since then. And I do raise my hand to volunteer for any training and development aspects at work. And in my book, I talk about going to work and leveraging your passion. I make sure I do that all the time.
That is so great right there, leveraging your passion, especially at work, because that's really just playing to your strengths as well, and it'll show to the superiors, and then that'll just lead to all sorts of wonderful brownie points and promotions, as well as just plain old feeling good.
Yes, yes. I was told just recently that I am uniquely qualified to lead one of the major finance leadership initiatives at work.
Woohoo! There we go. Leadership, baby.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking
Yes.
about.
Yes.
That's right. So we're going to have a whole line of Dr. Carter leadership heels coming to a Neiman Marcus near you. That's right.
That's right.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. So for those who are looking to get their start in leadership, or at least maybe thinking about possibly getting into a leadership role at the job, what will probably be your first piece of advice to someone who may not have had a leadership role before, but they want to eventually lead?
I am a big proponent of volunteer organizations such as Toastmasters or any other professional association where they have chapters and people volunteer to be part of their leadership team. In those venues, you have a chance to learn in what I'll call a sandbox. You're learning, you can make mistakes, you can be innovative and creative, try out new ideas without the risk of getting fired. And what happens is you learn in this external environment. The company first sees that you are doing other activities outside of work, that you have extended yourself as far as time and effort to be involved in another organization in a leadership capacity. The way in which you describe those transferable skills as a leader in those volunteer organizations back into leadership qualities that are shown in a particular job description that you're looking for. You can then cite examples of what you've done in your volunteer organization that are absolutely critical to what's going on in your job. I have found that many people, especially in Toastmasters, are individual contributors on their job, and many of them will become club president, vice president of education, etc., because they want to be able to display to their company that, hey, they've got leadership skills, they know how to delegate, because sometimes what I find at the job, people feel limited, and some companies feel that you have to already be doing the job before you get the job. And if you don't have the skills to do the job before you get the job, you'll never learn the skills. It's a really bad circle. But encouraging people to step outside their job, participate someplace else, they can then step back in and say, hey, I've got the skills. I'm qualified. Please give me the job.
Oh, yeah, that is solid right there, and it's so true, and it's kind of, I guess, somewhat backwards in a way, because it's like, yeah, we want 10 years of experience, that's right, even though you just got out of college, or you need this much experience. It's like, huh?
Right, exactly.
It's like, entry level, really? 10 years of experience? Yep, someone must have had the whole bag of weed, that job description.
It really is a shame. It is a shame. It really is.
That's right, indeed. Well, in addition to leadership, leaders like to read. I'm pretty sure there have been some books that really inspired your mind. Naming a title or two that have really just ignited you in addition to yours after publishing or reading your own?
I wouldn't necessarily say any particular books, but particular people who have written books. And here's where I'm going to plug you, Dominic Brightman. You are one of the ones who have inspired me. When I met you, and I forget how long ago in Toastmasters, then I heard you give a speech over at MedStar about the 100 books you need to read, and then you published your Going North book. that excited me. I'm like, here's this great young guy doing his thing, wrote this book. It was compact, interesting, impactful. I'm like, oh my God. I am thinking, again, guessing about writing a book, that it has to be 3,000 pages, a novel, thick, you can't even carry it, it's so heavy. But writing has become a lot easier because people want something fast and quick to read. People want solutions to their problems. And people want to figure out how can they go north? How can they gain access? How can they get the skills and tools that they need to become bigger and better than what they are today? I would say you are number one for me. Another one I want to cite, and hopefully he'll be listening to this podcast, is Robert Kennedy III, RK3. Another one has written 2 books. He has his Write Speak Now, I probably said it backwards, website and training program. He is out there helping people learn and grow in the leadership aspect. He's another one where we've met, we've worked together in Toastmasters, and he's another inspirational one where he is out there taking a leap on faith, making his mark, talking to people, wrote books. That's what really inspires me. It's the person who looks and feels like me that inspires me to say, hey, you know what? I can do this too. I want to be part of the game. I want to be able to share my knowledge and wisdom with other people, just like these 2 gentlemen are doing. That's what has inspired me to finally put my pen to paper and put this book together.
Woohoo!
Yes.
Well, I'm an honored man today.
Yeah, you should be. Every day you should be honored, my friend.
Woo! That's right, the chocolate evolution, baby. That's right. Or should I say the chocolate invasion?
That's right. That is right.
Well, Robert's probably in the caramel invasion, but that's beside the point. Yes, indeed, but it's freaking awesome, though. It's just really just great how you can just out of nowhere, you're just doing something just to do it, and you realize, like, hey, you're actually inspiring somebody to actually do something for themselves and create their own version of success. So it's really awesome, and just honored. It's like, oh man, this is freaking amazing, and it's, I guess, kind of goes back to like the power of actually joining a volunteer organization, especially like Toastmasters, where you meet all sorts of wonderful people that you probably wouldn't normally meet in your everyday life, and it's like, wow, and just get to learn and grow so much from one place, and probably even put steroids in your personal development.
Yes, it does. It does. I think the personal connection through people's speeches is what really brings everyone together. I call it a family. There are certain things I've probably shared in a speech that I would never tell my coworkers. It's a totally different experience being part of Toastmasters. I absolutely agree.
Oh, yeah, that's right. 'Cause coworkers be like, oh, sure, she actually said that? She did what?
When they read my book, someone will be like, really? Oh.
Yes, indeed. Yeah, I can remember one Toastmaster. I'll leave him nameless. He was like, yeah, Toastmasters is cheaper than therapy.
It is.
Oh, man.
It sure is.
Woo! Well, coming down the pike here to a question like to ask every guest, and that was if you were to wake up tomorrow and you were 25 again, but this time in the current year of 2019, what advice would you give to yourself?
I give myself 3 pieces of advice, but they all pertain to technology because technology is taking over the world. First of all, I would say to myself, don't be so dependent on the internet for information. You can't learn everything on the internet. The best way to get information is through face-to-face conversations or voice-to-voice conversations. People are a lot more willing to talk to you in those venues than they will sharing information to a we don't even know who they are, public audience on the internet. And you can't have a real back and forth on the internet. It's really more of a one-way reading conversation. The second part is about technology stifling communication. I see all these rants on Facebook. There'll be email chains at work where someone misinterpreted someone's tone. Somebody sent the message to the wrong person. Let's get back to picking up the phone. Or at work, go to the person's desk. The guy sits right next to you. Why are you sending him an email? Get up, off out of your chair and walk over and talk to the people. Or go off-site. Set a date and time. Let's go to Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, have a cup of coffee, and have a conversation. That's where the magic happens. The third piece is about being accountable. Technology will not help you be accountable. All technology will do is remind you that you were supposed to do something. Your calendar will buzz and say, I should have had that book done by today. You press dismiss, and then off it goes into the cloud to never come back. We need people to help us be accountable. You definitely can use technology to remind you, but reminders can float away. My main advice is don't let technology cripple you that you lose your communication skills and your interaction skills.
Amen to that. Especially the digital reminders.
Yes.
Yeah, snooze button is...
It's just a reminder. That's all it is. Just remind you that you should have done something. Whether or not you did or didn't do it, it doesn't know.
Oh, yeah, unless it's Alexa, right?
That's right. That'd be a really great program to Alexa to say, hey, did you do it? Did you do it? Did you do it? But we don't have that yet. Maybe we will soon.
Oh, yeah, it's probably going to happen. It's probably give it about a year or two.
Have the hostile Alexa.
That's right. And then she'll tag team with Siri, maybe.
That's right.
That's right, the dynamic duo.
That's right. Yes, yes.
Woo! Solid advice. Well, for those who want to keep in contact with you and all that magical goodness, what's the best way to get in contact with you?
I have a website. It is www.EAC, Edward Allen Katz, appeal. It's 2 A's, 2 P's, EAL.com. And that same naming convention is for my Twitter page, EAC-AAPPEAL. I have an Instagram page, which is EACAAPPEAL, and a Facebook page, which is Appeal LLC. And Appeal is my company name, which is also an acronym. Appeal stands for An Absolute Passion for Performance, Engagement, Analytics, and Leadership. Those are my 4 pillars of my passion. Again, everything's an acronym. And my email is elizabeth@EAC-AAPPEAL.com.
Oh, yeah. Well, there you have it, folks. There you have it. There you have it. We have some leading ladies on this podcast, and this lady is a shining example of what it means to be a wonderful woman in business to inspire the masses, baby. That's right. Inspire the lasses and the masses.
Thank you.
Beautiful indeed. So any parting words for the folks still listening?
Dom, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I am so proud of you. I can't tell you how much, you're helping me, other authors, you're inspiring young people, people everywhere around the world. I really appreciate you taking time out to talk to me. Those of you out there in podcast land, don't let anything hold you back. Reach out for help. There is someone there who has been where you've been, has gone where you've gone, and can help you get to where you want to go. I'm always happy to talk to anyone. I love to talk about career coaching, ideas around what should I be doing next, where should I be spending my efforts. I love talking to people about development and where they're trying to go in their careers.
How's it going, you super special, awesome human? Since you made it to the end of this episode, it looks like you really enjoyed yourself. Since you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with at least 3 people in your network and tell them what you really liked about this episode. Heck, even shoot myself or the guest an email and let them know what you liked most about this interview, so that way they can stay inspired to keep pushing out great work.